not a walkthrough, playthrough, review, anything like that. It's just me playing the game badly so you can see what it looks like. Okay then, this is Mayhem in Monsterland on the Commodore 64 from 1993, so this is a really late release for the Commodore 64. I've read or seen a little bit about it. I think I read actually. It's like legendary in terms of its quality because it was a late game. The kind of thing you would expect to see on the consoles of the day rather than an 8-bit computer that had been around for donkey's years and was basically obsolete by this time. I've got to say, this is impressing the hell out of me. I mean, I didn't have a Commodore 64 back in the day, so I'm not totally familiar with its capabilities, but I know I've never seen anything like this on the Commodore 64 before. Probably the best thing I've seen up until this point was Flimbo's Quest, but this is stunning. I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. So I mean, I don't know what that... Oh crap. Don't go down there. Status sad. Yes, that's about right. My abilities here are indeed very sad. Oh, I don't know what my character is. Oh crap. I don't know what he is. Some kind of... Is he a little dinosaur? He's kind of spiky and... Oh, you div. I don't know how many lives I get, but I can't... I think I'm probably on my last life. It does have that god-awful up to jump play mechanic that I dislike greatly. Give me a... Continue. Yes, please. Give me a button to jump, for goodness sake. But maybe I'll... I don't know. Maybe the fire button will be needed for something else later. Don't know. Who cares? Let's just try not to... Oh. Just sit and watch them for a bit. That'll maybe be worth... Ooh, we'll have some of that, whatever it is. Yeah. Oh. Sad, 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 sad. And we're back here. I guess that's a save location then. So I respawn there, perhaps. Oh God, nearly. Go on, chuck your star, and then we'll do that. And then we'll go down here, and we'll help you. And then we'll go up here, and there's another one. Ooh, gotcha. What's going on here? Oh God. This is all a bit... Get up there. Up there. Up there. Jump on him. Yay! Almost like I know what I'm doing. I can guarantee you there's no chance of that. Let's go up here. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Probably not. But whatever. Go on, chuck your star, and then we'll... Oh, you... Berg! Oh, have I got to go all the way back? Yep. After all that... It does make you learn. It forces you if you want to get anywhere. And I mean, it's not like... Oh, God. It's not like it's a difficult game once you've learned how to deal with these things. You know, go slowly, basically. Pause for a moment and work out what you're going to do and then do it. And it's... Oh! It's entirely doable. Oh, unless you do something stupid like that. Yep. So you're not going to get to see much of this game today on this video, obviously, because I'm just going to keep dying. Because I do rush. Because I just want to charge along Sonic the Hedgehog style, and that doesn't work on a game like this. And it does. You do kind of want to race along, because the speed that this game is capable of going at, oh, I mean, the backgrounds do fairly whiz along. Oh, you Burke, get up there. Now, do I? Oh, no, I don't. That is how not to play Mayhem in Monsterland. It's on the Commodore 64. It's very impressive. If you like platformy, puzzly kind of games, well, it's not really too much puzzling. You know, there are obviously certain ways to do certain bits of the maps, but yeah, it's not too unforgiving. But if you play like I do, you'll still struggle. Impressed? Okay, thank you for watching. Hello. Today's Q&A question is from Ralonso. Link to his channel down there. He asks, for Q&A, were you caught by the arcade cabinets period from the 70s to the early 90s as you grew up and as a young man, like I did? And what was your favourite arcade cabinet? Mine was Scramble by Konami from 1981. Okay, yeah, I have answered already the what was my favourite arcade game question, because yes, I absolutely was caught by the whole arcades thing. I don't want to call it a craze, we'll just call it a thing from the 70s and 80s. Yes, absolutely. I was playing arcade games from like before there were video games, because I was playing the electromechanical stuff that appeared in amusement arcades, as they were. In fact, they were just called amusements. You were going to the amusements. That's how people called it when I were a lad. So I played things like Sega's Missile, and there were a couple of driving games that were of varying qualities, and this shark shooting thing, and assorted kind of shooting gallery sort of thing. It was all electromechanical. But yeah, I got into the video game arcades. I have answered the question previously, what was my favourite, which would be Star Wars by Atari. But there is something about the wording of your question that I find interesting, in reference to which was my favourite arcade cabinet, which could be interpreted as not actually referring to the game, and I'm kind of going to take that angle, otherwise I would just be repeating a question I've already answered, because some cabinets were quite unique. A lot of arcade games, particularly later ones, they all got very, very samey, you know, big box screen, joystick, and okay, what was happening on the screen was different if you were lucky, but cabinets became very mix and match, very generic, very certainly like SNK ones, and these big Japanese ones. You walk, I've seen like a row of Japanese cabinets at Replay. They didn't have these in the arcades so much when I went to arcades, but certainly it shows. They're just like a big white plastic, it's like a fridge with a screen, and it's so samey, it's so generic, I just think meh. But back in the day, cabinets were often unique. They had something special about them that was different from all the others. The Star Wars one still is my favourite, the sit down one, because you sit in it. It's like being in an X-Wing cockpit. Well, I'm sure probably not really, but you know, it gives you a it's immersive. It kind of puts you in a different place, and I think that's great. And there were other cabinets that did that in a slightly less space intensive, if that's the right way of putting it, way. They took less space but had a similar effect. One of those was Battlezone, the bigger Battlezone cabinet, because you had this kind of scope, periscope-ish thing. It didn't move around or anything, but you put your face in it to see the screen, and that again made it immersive, and I thought that was great. And before that was a game that may have been called Up Periscope, it may have been called Seawolf, it may have been called any number of things. There were variations on the same game. I remember when it was black and white. Later on there were colour versions. You were the submarine commander, and there were ships going along the top, and you fired torpedoes at them. I played that way before video games were a thing, because there were electromechanical versions of it. And the thing about it was, and the thing that made the video game versions, you knew they were based on the electromechanical, was the scope. You had, it was, you know, you've seen your submarine war films from the 40s and 50s and whatnot, and you got the captain, he's holding the thing and he's looking around. Well, you had one of them, you had the periscope, and you turned it to aim where you were going to fire, and you were looking in this thing. You couldn't see what was going on around you. It put you right there in the game, and that was great. And it didn't, I actually preferred the electromechanical. I think my memories of it are vague, but it made such an impression. There was something kind of magical about the whole the visual thing they did, and it must have been done with mirrors and lights and models and stuff. It was clever. It was very clever. When you were doing it, you were like, well, as a kid, a 4-year-old, I was like, how do they do this? It must be magic. But I loved it. Yeah, later cabinets that stand out as being immersive and unique, like the motorbike riding ones, and I mean two come to mind: Super Hang-On, and then Manx TT Superbike. That one in particular, I mean, that was a big bike. That was great. I liked those. They were not entirely immersive exactly, in that you could still see what was going on around you, but it focused your mind, that you had to tilt that thing to steer the bike, and I thought that was great. I think was it one of them you still had your feet on the ground, and I think that was a Super Hang-On. Did you still have your feet on the ground? I'm not sure, but you most definitely didn't on Manx TT. You were right on there and having to use your full body weight to tilt the thing. That was great. I like that kind of thing. I don't recall any. I mean, there have been sit-down driving games that are, I don't know, that I see them and they're kind of gimmicky. I mean, even Hard Driving, really, the cabinet where you sat in it was meh. And Daytona, again, alright, you could have a row of 4 of them and whatnot, but you could have just been standing there and it really didn't matter. Those ones didn't impress me as much. That was just sitting to play a steering wheel game rather than standing. I like something that's... I'll tell you what, I regret never getting to try the R360, is it called, or R370 or whatever, that really fancy cabinet that went with, and it was not Afterburner, it was G-Lock. I never got to play it. There was nowhere that I ever went to that had it. I would have liked to have tried that, just to get thrown around by a cabinet like that. I think that would have been cool. Okay, hope that answers your question. Anyone else who has got a question they would like answering in a video like this, ask in the comments down there. Begin your question with 4 Q&A so that I know not to answer just in the comments. Okay, thank you for watching.
What do you mean, subscribe to his Patreon? I already paid for breakfast. What more does he want? What? Oh, seemed he wasn't invited. Oh, I suppose I could eat his as well.